Nope.
No?
Waypoint 4 actually doesn't really figure in right now. We're
okay.
headed along this depth contour still to
Sure.
find the outer edge of. So we should, tube worms are the first sign of the periphery, right? So we should actually hopefully pass through the chimneys next,
Okay.
and then back out to more tube worms, and that's what we're going to mark with the first virtual marker is the top end, the north end of the field.
Roger that.
Looks like there's something down to the left over there.
Let me look down a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, you can see some in the Argus view just in the bottom left corner, maybe?
Yeah,
Something
it would.
light colored there.
If you guys, as you have tether during these moves, please do move up and down between those, like those depth contours if you're able to.
Yeah, definitely. This
It's
looks
like a little
interesting
shell
here.
feature or some sort of white coloration
Oh,
there.
look at that.
Mats.
Mats,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh.
Argus finds it first.
Oh, hi.
And I think there was some a little down that way as well.
Is that what you were talking about earlier, Nicole, the mineralization on the rocks around here?
This
Hey,
looks
video,
like
you wanna come
bacteria.
wide a little bit
Amy might
for a
be able to
sec?
comment a little bit on this, although we haven't gotten a really clear
Yeah,
view.
I'm not sure, but yep.
Full wide. Yeah, if we're able to do a quick zoom on these white features, it might give Amy a good look at what they are.
Roger. Sounds good.
We can zoom in on Argus a little bit too if you like.
Yeah.
Looks like
Is that shimmer?
shimmer, yeah.
So
Ooh,
we
yeah.
do. We have some
Yeah.
diffuse flow here. That's
Can't
good.
focus on that.
Alex, could you drop a marker or target that says diffuse flow?
Of course.
Video, wanna come
Thank
wide
you.
on Herc for a sec?
Uh-huh.
That's good. Thank you. Looks like I'm right over
that
some
silhouette?
chimneys.
Right
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
Yes.
Oh, look right below you.
Right
there.
Yeah,
below
right
you.
below
there.
me, yeah.
Yeah.
So just be careful. You want it back up first because
Yeah.
you're being so heavy.
Yeah, I'm full thrust up right now.
Okay, we'll come wide on Argus, please.
They weren't kidding when they called it a cliff site. Cool. So
Lateral.
Alex, we could also drop a target here that says chimneys.
Cool.
There's some other ones behind you as well, that little ridge feature.
Yeah,
But they're sure that's a chimney right there.
yeah. That's I'm gonna come over a bit towards you, Josh.
Okay,
If you
coming
wanna
up.
come up a little bit.
Yep, coming up.
Thank you.
Yeah, you could number it. You could say 1.
Just save one.
Yep.
All right. Once I get in a good spot, I'll approach them a bit more, Nicole.
Yeah, look at that.
All right, I'm gonna just take a peek real quick. Coming down.
Okay.
We're cheering in the lounge.
Come down a little bit.
Yeah, coming down.
Should we hold here to explore a little bit?
I think what we should do is actually continue on. We're gonna make notes as we go. So if this, we should follow definitely this bearing, and we can drop additional targets if we see, you know, distinct areas of more chimneys or whatever. But we're looking for the periphery of this site, so it's great that we found it. This is perfect.
Bridge nav. One more step, please.
And Alex, I don't know how you and Miles feel about the current location of Hercules on the high pack, but might drop another target if you think it's distinct enough. I just noticed that the vehicle positions jumped around a bit, and we're over more chimneys, so you could drop a chimney target.
Sounds good.
I don't know how Miles would
Come down a
normally
little
square
more for
those
you.
two.
Roger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could we get a quick zoom on this?
Yeah, is that shimmery right below us?
Well, it's right almost to the left of the lasers. It looks zooming.
Video, can you hold that for a sec? Go
Yeah.
push back.
Wait for Herc to call for the zoom.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get us in a nice spot so I don't sit down on one of the chimneys. That'd be a bad day for the chimney.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, that's true.
If you come back towards me, like back towards Argus, you'll get a little more tether, and then you'll get a good shot of this stuff over here.
Yeah.
Try and lateral if you can, or I don't know. I know this vertical stuff is difficult right
Yeah,
now.
if it's too difficult, it's fine.
We got this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be right. Just take a little time.
Oh. Just trying to lateral now.
The lasers were being perturbated by all the shimmering fluids, so that was kind of cool as it went past that.
Push out through this.
We've had some temperature anomalies as well.
Oh, that's really cool.
So it started kind of when we first were seeing the vents and went back up.
It's
the last
about
couple
a half a
minutes.
degree
Yeah.
C.
Up to about, yeah, so about a half degree total.
And that's just being distant from
Yeah,
them, so that's
totally.
pretty neat.
It's not with the probe or anything.
There you go, yeah, push in there and then try and get a shot of that one like straight ahead of you.
Roger.
Bridge nav. Yeah, one more step, please.
All right, come down a little bit, and then video, you can start pushing in.
Okay.
Give it a little more leash, I'll come down.
Roger.
Ready? Herc, ready?
Hold that.
Oh.
Okay, go ahead. Hold that. You want to pull back a little bit? Right there.
Yeah, look at all of it. It's just all shimmery, diffuse flow.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
Is that kind of bluish, or does it look mostly just white?
It's hard to say. It's
Yeah, the color.
gray
color's
blue,
kinda-
but we're kind of still a little distant from it.
Yeah, we're staying a little standoffish just because
Yeah.
we're heavy a bit. But
That's
Right.
okay.
yeah.
You could see all of the focused flow too. It's really neat.
All right, I'll come back around again.
Yeah, it's fine to continue on.
Ooh, there's a nice spire up ahead though. If you wanna,
Oh yeah?
you wanna have a look
Yeah.
at that while
If we have time, yeah, sure.
Gonna be close.
cut in a little
I
bit.
see the stretch in the tether.
Yeah, you're pretty
Yeah.
close to the end now.
No, negative. Never mind.
It's just out of view. Something to come back to.
Right. Video, you wanna come a little wide, please? Right about there is good. Thank you.
So for those of you watching on Nautilus Live, what we're really doing here, this is the first phase of our dive, which is just characterizing the site and trying to measure a present day extent of it. We have a pretty accurate depth expectation as to where we're going to find these hydrothermal vent fields, and obviously we're right in the middle of them at the moment. But the question now is, how far along this depth contour do they extend? So that's why we're going to continue this process of edging along the cliffs. And then once we kind of reach the other side, that's when we're going to change our mode of operation, actually go up and spend a little bit more time up close and performing some experiments, hopefully, around some of these sites of diffuse flow and focus flow, some of the chimneys you're seeing.
Nicole, am I clear to move on?
Yes, please. That sounds great.
Roger.
This is fantastic.
You still want the lasers on for a bit?
I think so. We'll leave the lasers on for now, Science.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sure. Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
So just to give you guys in the room an update, it's not just the lounge that was cheering for us.
Good. It's this is one of those dives where you don't have really clear water, but it pays off to stay tuned, because when we see stuff, it's pretty cool.
Should we start heading up the contour?
Yes, let's continue along this contour and see when we get to the other side, where it looks like we're already getting back into two berms. See, they're just coming into view now on the left.
Yeah, it looks like if I back up a bit here, there's another feature behind us.
Okay, yeah, we'll continue on.
Coming up.
Yeah.
So every time we explore hydrothermal vent fields, we always get the question as to how much heat can Hercules and Argus withstand. And I guess the short answer is probably more than we're ever willing to expose them to.
Hey, video, you wanna come wide for a sec?
Yeah.
I'll look more down for you guys as we explore a bit more.
Certainly at these sites, we're expecting to see some low temperature vents around, say, 20 to 100 degrees Celsius, something like that. But also mixed among them, there are some higher temperature vent systems going,
Roger.
I believe, almost as high
Did you already call it?
as 300 degrees. And that would be damaging for Hercules if it went over something like that. So that's why the pilots are always a little bit standoffish, especially when at the beginning of a dive they're carrying a lot of experiments on board. That increases the weight of Hercules and means they have to, it's just a little bit more of a difficult operation navigating some of these potential hazards.
And Nicole, you only want roughly around waypoint 3 before we start moving to waypoint 4, is that correct?
No, we're just in contour following.
Yeah,
Contour
that's
following.
correct. So we might actually end up a little beyond that. But what we're looking for are the visual cues of, so we've gone through the chimneys, it seems like. If we could keep doing a little Herc wiggle to take a look to make sure, that'd be best. And then when we see the two berms and then go just beyond those to where there are no more two berms, we can mark that edge of the edge of the field.
Right.
Nicole, once we're back on the main vent site, do we plan to explore in depth at all? Up and down the water column?
In a way, yes. So the way this dive is going to progress is first marking the entirety of the vent field, which they think is about 100 by 100 meters. And so we were probably just about on the center of it It looks like fairly focused though, right? Because we're already out of it.
Yeah.
So we'll mark the perimeter and then go back and maybe find a place to deploy the colonizers, either before or after we do some temperature readings with the temperature probe at
Coming down a little bit.
different chimneys and vents.
Uh-huh. Oh, and the colonizer is the static experiment we're going to deploy to see what kind of physical materials the bacteria might settle on.
That's right, yeah. So
Yeah.
they're the little funnel-looking things that are on the front porch.
Uh-huh.
And there are 6 of them. And they contain about 6 pounds of lead each.
That's why we're eager to get rid of them, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff.
So what you're seeing there is that's just the action of the Hercules thrusters just kicking up a little bit of sediment overlying these rock layers on the cliff.
Yeah, let's see if we can find the 2 berms now, because I'm curious. It seems like we're already outside the field, which means we may have gone too far or just be looking at the wrong depth. I don't know if we need to...
We've been in about this step range.
we have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a couple like singular tube worms still in between some of the rocks.
Yeah, like the current depth we're looking at right now is about 2726, 2725, something around this, just at the angle that we're pointing down.
Oh, okay.
Would you like it 10 meters shallower, or?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If we could come upslope a little bit. I
Okay.
wonder if we've... Excellent.
So for those of you who might just be beginning your day with Nautilus Live, we are currently exploring at the Sea Cliff hydrothermal vent site. This is, as the name suggests, it's a cliff-like region that's on the edge of a marine trench that's the edge of the spreading center between the Pacific and the Gorda tectonic plates. It's like a submarine rift valley, if you like, and we're working on the sides of that. If you took a view from up in space in where we are, we're basically in the Nautilus. We're floating about 300 kilometers off the coast of North America in the eastern Pacific Ocean. If you have a map of the United States, you could just find the border between California and Oregon at the coast and then just work about 300 kilometers offshore from there, and that's where we're operating. We've had a pretty successful start to this morning's dive, our first dive of this subsea expedition. That's a partnership between NASA, NOAA, and the Ocean Exploration Trust. Our first task was to actually locate these deep ocean hydrothermal vent sites that hadn't been visited in about 13 years or so. And so, much to everyone's relief, that's something we've succeeded in pretty early on, finding these sites. And we're just completing our kind of mapping the present-day extent of these sites before we then move back to the center of the field again, where we saw those vent systems with the flows and the chimneys. And that's where we're going to start our day of experiments and measurements. I don't know if we've got anybody in the room or listening in the
feature
lab.
behind you.
Or listening in the...
Might just be noise.
Yeah. But one of the questions we're getting on Nautilus Live is whether we expect to see any larger fauna here. Of course,
Noise.
there's a lot of interest in the microbial communities in these hydrothermal events, but we haven't seen too much in terms of larger fauna at the moment. I'm not sure what our expectation is, actually. I don't know if anybody feels they want to pitch in there, but feel free.
From what I've read, they don't expect the larger fauna, like the giant riftia or anything like that. The small bunches of tube worms are what we were looking
How
for.
are we at right now?
And then basically shrimp and arthropods feeding off them.
Yeah, different
far into the ship
associates.
move
There
are they
might
for
be
the-
some.
How far the bridge into the ship
There were
move
some
right
squat
now?
lobsters, and we
So
saw an
it's-
anemone.
Here, I can show you.
Some of the fish.
Sea star.
So he's almost finished it. But we should, if we want to stay in this contour, we want to go north.
Yeah, I don't think we want to actually, Josh. I think what we'd like to do now is your easterly move, the 90
Yeah.
was a good one. I think we should try to look for the tube worm clumps. I see a couple of solitary ones, but I feel like we're on the very perimeter. I feel like we're at that northerly extent, and we
Okay.
just maybe need to
Go upslope.
go upslope a little bit.
Okay, so keep on the 90 moves
So-
then.
Yeah, I would do another 90 move.
Okay, roger that.
Should I go 5 meters?
More than that, I think.
Yeah, you can do
Yeah, I
another
can-
20 is fine.
Okay. Bridge nav. I get 20 meters at bearing 090.
If you're actually watching on Nautilus Live and want the most detailed, up-to-date position of the Nautilus, you can actually open another tab next door and just go to marinetraffic.com and search for the Nautilus, and you'll be able to track us via our transponder as well. Thanks to one of our viewers on Nautilus Live for just giving us that suggestion if you want to follow us in every way possible.
Is it just me, or do we have a little blobby friend stuck on that tube on our deck? It's been there for a little while. Just hanging out,
Blobby friend.
like on the left side of that sampler tube.
I haven't noticed.
What's it called?
The IGT?
GT?
Yeah, in the basket, it's sticking up, and then there's a little like clear, very clear looking
Well, it might be a rubber band, maybe.
blob on the side of it.
Maybe just the cover. There's a clear cover on the IGT itself.
I don't
Maybe
know.
just playing with your eyes there.
Looks like there's a few stray tube worms here, Nicole.
Yeah, and Alex, we might mark this as such,
Okay.
like solitary tube worms, because this, you know,
Like
Yeah,
down
right.
here.
Below you.
between the
Yeah.
basket and the lasers, kind of, there's a few.
I think you're just seeing like light reflected off the porch
Maybe.
coming back into the dome of the camera, getting little,
Yeah, maybe.
yeah.
Jess,
couple on there.
do you think we'd have time to do a zoom on those tube worms just to see if there's any fluid emanating from the
Yeah,
area?
definitely.
Okay.
I'll get us down there a bit.
So Nicole, do you have a sense of how far we've traveled horizontally between that kind of first contact with the tube worms and where we are now?
Ooh, that's an excellent question. Alex is probably the best equipped to answer that by doing a quick measurement.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you
Maybe
repeat that?
well, once you drop this target for tube worms, we can measure between this and the chimneys to get an idea of how far we've gone. It's within the 100 meters. It's it is the fact that we're crossing waypoint 3, which is where scientists had seen the furthest extent of the vent field 10 years ago, indicates that it seems pretty stable.
All right, video, you can come in a little bit there.
Okay.
Try that.
That guy doesn't look very attached anymore.
No.
That
No.
one does though. At the top of the screen maybe.
Uh-huh.
But
See what else we find over here.
Yeah, if we could do a quick little look around at a half zoom or whatever, just to see, are these guys just
Dead.
tumbleweed,
Tumbleweed.
Tumbleweed tubes.
tumbleworms?
From
Tumbleweed.
chimney 2 to the tube worms right now, it's about 65 meters.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Does that look like a base to you, Nicole? Or does that just look
Yeah.
like...
No, those might be little ones coming out from that rock. Can we get maybe a little more focus on that?
We are
Yeah, I know it's hard, right?
focused.
Roger, I can come in a bit more for that. if you
Okay,
want.
I can zoom in a little bit more.
Bridge nav.
Oh, sorry, 1 sec.
Can I get 10 meters at bearing 090?
Alright, let's see if it comes back into view.
Right, there we are.
Sorry, guys. Just
No, you're doing a good job. It's hard.
Stabilize, yeah.
It's very difficult to do when you're full zoom. Keep it stable.
Just for reference, what's the spacing between the lasers?
10 centimeters.
10 centimeters. Yep.
Thank you.
All right, that's good. Thanks, Jess. I mean, that's hard to say. It looks like something actually fell down the slope here because you could see the orangey, the bits of sediment. Looks like something kind of just tumbled down and bumped the seafloor in that area.
Alright, do you guys want to see around here anymore while we... Looks like we have a little bit more time.
Yeah, if you want to zoom out just a little and look around.
Roger, you going to come wide a little bit there, video? That looks good. Probably not for video because of the IGTs there, but we'll see if we can just keep a partial zoom.
That's good. Oh,
Little fish friend.
big
Oh,
friend
yeah.
here.
Wow.
Gonna come up a little.
Roger.
Bridge nav. One more step, please.
I'm not seeing any families of worms here.
Yeah, just the solitary ones.
Yeah.
To me, that means we've it's certainly reached the edge, if not gone a little bit past the edge of the field. But I think we'll look a little bit more to the east as the ship moves along, and then start the reciprocal to get back into it again and continue marking the field.
Roger.
And Alex, I recognize now that VM1 would be the first site of active chimneys. So that chimney point that you dropped that says diffuse flow in chimneys, if you could change that to VM1,
Okay.
that'll be consistent with what we've been asked to do. Or you could take that, yeah, VM1, no need for the underscore. And then if you could put in the notes that that was the first site of diffuse flow in chimneys.
We got a little octopus
Ooh.
friend.
Oh, neat. There was, on the map that we've been given, in the dive plan, there was a note that there were a bunch of octopus to the northwest, actually.
Ah, interesting.
Hello.
And that was based on the scientists that were here a while ago, a decade ago, I believe. And so when we are happy that we've found the edge of this field, which is probably around here somewhere, we will drop a marker that's VM2.
Got it.
And they're pretty well matching up with what they had expected.
We actually just got a great question from the Pennington Marine Science Center. A load of folks watching there, and they were asking, what are those particles that we can see floating around, sort of out of focus in the water column? Is that basically marine snow falling down from above?
It is.
So yeah, that's all the basically remains of all of the creatures living in the water column above us, mainly in the sunlit zone of the ocean. And when they either produce waste or die themselves, they gently fall down to the bottom. There's this constant rain of what's called marine snow that falls to the seafloor. So what's actually producing most of the sediment that we're actually seeing on the seafloor.
So Nicole, you think in a few minutes we're going to want to do the reciprocal?
I think so. I think we'll be happy marking this area as the VM2, and then we'll be headed back the other way to cross through the center sort of again and mark the other corners.
Okay.
So I think I read this tidbit of information a few days ago, but one of our Nautilus Live users has just pointed it out to us, that the sea cliff site is not named because it's a sea cliff, which is exactly what we're exploring at the moment. It's after the deep submergence vehicle Sea Cliff that dove on this site in the late 1980s.
That's right. That's when it was first discovered. It was about 1985.
And they're not the site that we're actually exploring today, but more towards the mid-ocean, the spreading center. That was in 1996. That was the site of quite a major eruption, was it?
Yeah, there have been a series of tectonic and sort of eruptive events in this region. So it is, relatively recently active.
What's on all those rocks up ahead?
Yeah, that's what I'm curious. Can we zoom on that?
Yeah, I've just noticed those.
It's an interesting change in the rocks too. It's a lot more talus here.
Come down and I'll approach it real quick.
I'm sure Megan's noted that.
Yep.
Resident geologist. A lot of brittle stars.
Yeah.
And then it looks like some anemones. That's what those sort of disc-shaped things are. Must be an area where there's maybe a little increase in the flow rate or something. Everything's grabbing some food out of the water column here.
Yeah. All right, video, you can come in a little bit there.
Okay.
That'll be good. We can just kind of float around here for a sec.
Yeah, you can actually see an anemone down there in I guess the center left of Herc that's actually got its feelers out feeding in the flow.
So little baby fly trap anemones.
Yeah.
I'll get some more light on this for you, video.
Thanks.
What's that right about the Herc's lasers went, is it a closed anemone? It's down now.
Yeah, some are open, some are closed.
So. Yep. But the important thing is we don't see any signs of shimmering water. We don't see any tube worms. So I could I don't think those are the same though. I think those are a different type of worm. Oh, the shimmer? Do you see? Amy's saying bottom right.
Bottom right. Roger.
I'll take a zoom there. Maybe just above where the lasers are now is where she thought she saw it.
Right?
you see it anymore?
It's hard to tell.
Yeah. If you're able to come in just a little bit, Jess, when you, or zoom a little bit, it might.
It does look kind of shimmery.
Yeah, go ahead,
Does
video.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
like, yeah, exactly.
Try holding that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
between those rocks.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, right there.
Wow.
Really clear there.
Okay, so we should mark this with diffuse flow.
Looks like I'm going to kick up some sediment here. It just touched a bit. My thrusters are pushing down some. So if we get into a dust cloud, we know what happened. You can kind of see my dust cloud in Argus right now.
You can
Oh,
come
yeah.
wide and reset if you want. I think they got what they needed there.
Yep, we have the, we'll drop that target and then.
All right, go ahead and come wide, video.
Okay. I think we should actually continue to look around a little bit more since.
Yeah, ship's been stopped for a while, so.
Yeah. If we want to go maybe a little northeast, follow, in any rate, follow this a little bit more.
Northeast, roger.
Yeah.
Video, you want to come all the way wide for a moment? I get myself squared up. Okay. You can go ahead and come in again.
Okay.
There you go.
That pullback was really nice because you really see how that little section of rocks with the anemones on it's quite a special habitat when you can get rocks with diffuse flow, because then you're going to get the creatures that actually like to anchor rather than just based on the sediment.
So Nicole, you want a northeast general?
I think so. Yeah, I think that.
What is tracking this? It's this, right?
You could do just like a 20-meter step.
Roger.
So I should be tracking this more than this? Or not necessarily?
So
No,
Alex,
no,
I think we
we're
want
gonna-
to, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, we're going to want to do a northeast movement, about 20 meters. So you can just do like a 045 if it's, as long as it's along there, or 030.
20 meters?
20 meters, that'd be great. Thanks, Nev.
Bridge nav?
Sorry, Miles.
Can I get 20 meters at 030? Thank you.
So I know as we explore a number of your Nautilus Live, we're always interested in what are some of the more interesting or extreme creatures that we've seen during our explorations. A great place to go check that out is on nautiluslive.org if you look for some of our highlights and photo blogs. Also check us out on YouTube, searching for our Nautilus channel on YouTube. And you can see some great highlights there, just with short videos anywhere between 30 seconds and 2 to 3 minutes long, of some of the amazing creatures we've seen over the years, like the stubby squids, the purple orb, or the octopus garden. But that's a great place if you find yourself in a quieter moment of the dive to check out some of our previous highlights.
So Nicole, after this move, do you want to keep on looking to the northeast, or do you want to go back and try to pick up that vent site again?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've been thrown a little by the diffuse flow we just saw coming out of the rocks. I mean, I think if we don't see anything further signifying vent or diffuse flow, then we drop the virtual marker 2, probably used that diffuse flow marker as virtual marker 2, and then reverse course.
Okay.
Am I renaming diffuse flow?
Not yet. Let's see what happens on this next ship move, just to see.
Okay.
We must be very close to being outside of it. If not, we don't see. We weren't seeing as much of the vent fauna, or there were no chimneys. That makes sense to everyone else.
Well, while we're waiting, I'll wag to the left a bit here for you.
Sounds great. See a couple of lonely straggler tube worms.
Yeah.
So for those of you watching, what we've really executed this morning is almost like a transect at one depth contour across the extent of the Seacliff hydrothermal vent site. We started off the day with coordinates from the previous expedition in 2005, 2006, and with those we were able to successfully find the edge of the hydrothermal vent site, which was marked by areas of diffuse flow and clusters of tube worm colonies. We then have been executing a series of 20 meter by 20 meter ship moves, taking us across the extent of the site along this marine cliff environment. Earlier, about 30 to 40 minutes ago, we actually found what appears to be the main center of the hydrothermal vent sites in this area, with lots of diffuse flow and some focused flow and chimneys. And then our present task was to actually map the extent of that by following the depth contour all the way across to the other edge. And that's kind of where we're getting to at the moment, just to the point where we think we found the edge.
That's a call for Nicole.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Do you want us to put in another ship move?
We
or?
actually wanted to take a look at something. So Amy noticed top left of your view right now.
Top left, rather.
Yep.
Right.
Top right.
Oh, sorry, top right. Yep.
Top right. Okay. And what is it that you want to see, Amy?
Can you see there's some of the rocks are discolored and kind of have a reddish color to them underneath?
The one kind of coming into the lasers now, those?
Yeah, a little bit more to the right.
Okay.
And then there's one up in the top right corner that has some white precipitates or something around it.
It's kind of outside of the
I
rubble.
see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
off by its.
Kind of going to come into the square
Yeah.
Yep.
little
and then-
triangle
Yeah,
here.
like just on top of that.
All right. You want to take a look at that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that color is chemical alteration?
Yeah,
From
it looks
flow?
like there might have been some
Yeah?
flow here at some time ago, or maybe it's still occurring and we just can't see it from this distance.
Yep.
Josh, when you're done with the gauges, would you mind if I looked at my porch?
Oh, sorry. Bad Argus pilot.
But when you're done with your gauges, it's good.
I was done like ages ago.
Ages?
Sorry.
What?
You were done gauges ago.
Ages ago.
Gauges,
Oh,
gauges
dear.
and gauges.
Oh, here comes the puns. Okay,
Hi,
so
everyone.
it was this rock that you guys are talking about, yeah?
Yeah, and there's a few up at the top of the screen too.
Okay.
This looks like some sort of hydrothermal crust.
We'll get a little more light on it and
On
then
the
we'll zoom
bottom.
in. All right, video, if you want to come in a bit there. Okay, hold that for a sec. I'm going to come a little bit forward.
Where's it? Oh, right here.
All right, go ahead and pull in a bit more there, video.
Gotcha.
Okay. And I'm just going to pop up a little bit.
Just want to sample that.
Looks like it's kind of crusty shelf down there too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Doesn't look active, but definitely was.
Yeah.
I think.
And it's that coloration that you're talking about too, that reddish
Yeah.
to the upper left, to the upper right, I mean.
And I think, yeah, this is good.
So that line is UVO, and then the dots are USBO.
And it was these over here that you wanted as well? Or was it the one up?
Yeah, up at the top, maybe.
Yeah.
Amy, did you want to look some more at these rocks over here to the right?
Sure.
All right, let me get down a little bit further. Did you want to come wide for a moment, please?
Yeah.
That's good.
And use cursor, reset.
Thank you.
Herc, Argus?
Yep.
Go ahead for resetting DVL.
Yeah, I'm all good. Go ahead.
Got it.
Great.
Now they're together.
All right, video, you can push in again on this. And I'll just kind of drive by it a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that shimmer?
I don't see it. That doesn't mean it's not there.
Sometimes the snow just looks...
Yeah.
Yeah, the super zooms are hard sometimes.
Yeah.
It tricks you a little bit.
Yeah, because there's a blurriness that happens on the face of those really dark rocks too.
Yeah.
That almost looks like shimmer, but it's not.
The lasers look okay at the moment.
Yeah.
They change a lot in the shimmer.
Okay.
We can poke around some more at these rocks if you want, or we can...
I mean, I think it's okay that field next to the high temperature vents that we saw, there might have been a good place to set down the colonizers. So
Oh
I
yeah,
was
let's
just
do that.
yeah, so I was just scoping out this area too because it might have been another potential location.
Okay.
It's not active enough.
But yeah.
Okay.
So let's zoom out then. And we're just north of that area with the that we had last marked as diffuse flow.
Ready, Herc?
Are you, and you're at the end of your tether for going like northeast?
Go ahead, come on.
Well, we got a wee bit, but yeah.
Wee bit, yeah. Can we make one more 20 meter, 10 meter move to the northeast just to make sure none of this is active?
Okay.
Sure thing.
Bridge nav. Can I get 15 meters at 045?
So hello, Van. This is Samantha sitting in for John while he does a interaction.
Okay,
Curious, so we are looking for shimmering diffuse flow. Is that the current objective?
We're trying to mark the edge of the vent field, so we went through, you may have noticed, hopefully you saw the chimneys and all that. We've gone back through a few single tube worms and some diffuse flow, but we think we're at the edge. We just want to be certain.
Excellent. Unfortunately, I've been in a meeting, so I have missed all the good stuff.
The best is yet to come, Sam.
Perfect. It always is, isn't it? Well, we've got a lot of Corps of Exploration alumni watching, a couple of SCFs who are in our current cohort, as well as Mrs. Keller's Earth Science class in Woodbridge, Virginia, and Mrs. Keller was a Science Communication Fellow in 2012.
Yes, back in the
on
med.
board. Yes.
Hello.
It's great to see folks following along through the years on our expeditions. So we've got a question coming in if we are on or near a plate boundary, which is a fantastic question. Who wants to take that one?
Yeah, so we're a little offshore, so the plate boundary is actually the North American plate and the Juan de Fuca plate, the subduction zone that's just off the coast of Cascadia. We are a little bit further than that. There's a spreading center, and we're off axis from that right now.
Excellent. Yeah, it's worth Googling for a plate map to see exactly where we are. Actually, I can tweet one out here as well. Another question, if any of the dark faces on the rocks could be from relatively recent fracturing, or any idea how old those might be?
I'm not sure how old they would be, but when we were seeing more dark faces, we were kind of on some of the steeper, our contours. You can kind of follow along when we're going into like more of a trough or more of an exposed, steeper face, and it looked like some of our darker faces were probably where the current was hitting harder, or maybe there was a little bit of a tumbling down of some of those boulders that could have fractured them or just exposed them.
Yeah, because we're off the axis of the spreading center a bit, this is supposed to be an older area, but there's also, that means there's a lot of questions about why it's still so hydrothermally active, which kind of makes it interesting. Because I think the estimates I'd seen based just off of a spreading rate and how far we are from that spreading center is that it's maybe 100 million years old was the one estimate just based on those factors. But obviously we're still seeing hydrothermal fluids and activity with the chimneys here. Cool.
So Nicole, once we're done with this ship move, do you want another one to the northeast, or do you want to?
What's the consensus, everyone here? Amy, any thoughts? I think we've reached past the end, so I think what we're going to do is call that diffuse flow marker that we have VM2, which would be our northeasterly extent of the vent field, and then we'll start transitioning back to find the sort of southeast and southwest corners.
Roger.
And if anyone in the lounge is listening and has any other ideas, because I know Lee and Darlene couldn't go to sleep, let me know.
So what would be your bearing back to that marker now?
To waypoint 3?
To the diffuse flow marker, diffuse I believe, is the one they want.
It would be go directly south.
Excellent.
So 180.
Directly south. Roger. That's the marker you want. That you're talking about, Nicole. Yeah, the diffuse flow marker.
You're not on comms.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
And then I'm just reading ahead in our dive plan. So we're going to estimate, it says, from VM2, we want to go 100 meters beyond where the intense venting was observed, which was our VM1 waypoint.
Roger.
Should we head towards VM2 first?
Yes, let's do that first.
So Alex, just tell me what you're thinking for putting Herc on VM2. So you want to put Argus a little bit away from that, right?
So
yeah, so we're going to want to set Argus. Remember, we're going to always go for shallow, or sorry, not shallower, but deeper. But we're going to be kind of strategic in how we place it. So if we want to put Herc, that's completely directly south pretty much to VM2. Then we'll put it a little bit south and a little
225? 20 meters at 225? Or
yeah, so you can even you can
closer.
measure it too, right? So you can start with where Argus is. You can get a bearing on where you want to try and place them, and then you step on that bearing. So you can actually like. So we want to go to, we're going to VM2, correct?
VM2.
Yeah. So some are just on the deep side of that, just a little bit, like say.
Uh, 190. So about 20 meters, 190.
That could work.
Sure.
Yep.
Bridge nav. Can I get 20 meters at bearing 190?
And then you want to zoom out for a minute on zoom out, sorry.
So what we're actually trying to do as we come back towards that VM1 is find the center of the vent activity, which I think since we saw that chimney 2, we're just going to look around sort of in a little radius around this VM1 chimney 2 area and establish what we think is the center point.
Okay,
and we'll drop a marker there.
Okay, so first, oh sorry, Nicole.
Oh, nope, sorry, I was just clarifying that I meant virtual or high pack target.
Okay, so we'll go to the VM2 target, then we'll make our way, shimmy our way down to VM1 and check out VM1 and chimney 2, if that's correct.
Yeah, look around a little bit more to see if we agree that like one of those two might be the center, maybe it's a little off towards one, towards the east or something.
Okay, sounds good. So I'd start planning as to how to make those moves over to VM1. Once we get in position over here, we'll
think about heading deeper first.
No, along the contour.
Yeah. You can
just kind of backtracking what we just sort of did. We want to stay on the wall, but then
should stay on this contour here, head down, and then move out that way.
Yeah, so you can. It almost looks like you have a straight shot.
Okay.
If you can use your little cursor to figure out that bearing.
That looks pretty good to me.
Bridge nav.
So if we're making our way to VM2, I think they want to look around there for a moment.
Okay.
I think it's okay,
you
actually.
You can just say stand by if you're not ready.
Stand by.
In my estimation, I think it's okay for us to just take the course or the bearing that Alex just had up.
Okay.
Yep.
20 meters at 220.
If that's what you just had, yeah, that sounds good.
Bridge nav. You get 20 meters at bearing 220.
So we have a homeschool family joining us watching this dive live, and 7-year-old Adeline was wondering how old the Nautilus is. So Nautilus just celebrated its 50th birthday. It was actually built in 1967 in East Germany. So Nautilus has had a couple of different lives, and it's been with the Ocean Exploration Trust since 2008. So it's been called the Nautilus since 2008. And it started out as Nautilus in the Mediterranean Sea and worked its way down the Atlantic coast into the Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, and actually passed through the Panama Canal in 2015. So we've been over here on the Pacific Ocean side since 2015. So this year we are starting our expedition season here along the California coast, and then we're headed all the way out to the Central Pacific, American Samoa, and a lot of the islands and atolls out there. So lots of exploring for a ship over 50 years old. She's looking good though.
She's had a full life.
She's had a full life, yep. So if you're on our Nautilus Live webpage, you can hit the expedition page and actually look at a map of all of our expeditions from 2012 onwards. So we're working on getting some of the older expeditions up there, but you can see where we've been the last few years and explore some of those expeditions and favorite sightings.